Welcome back, Week in Horror fans. This week we're going through February 9th through February 15th, right? We have some great stuff lined up for you, some awesome movies, a couple special announcements, all kinds of great stuff, right? Lined up for y'all today. But always with me are my co-hosts, JL and Alex.
How's it going?
What's up, everybody?
And we have a special announcement coming up.
Yes, we do. So I'm very, very pleased with this. We got some really, really cool shit. For the month of March, March 1st, for all of our Patreons, we have a new Bloodbath and a new After Dark coming out. The Bloodbath that is coming up is going to be Dexter, serial killer Dexter, versus uber serial killer Hannibal Lecter.
Oh,
so we will be debating that out. Alex and I will be debating that out.
Had to throw the uber killer in
there. And I will be representing Hannibal Lecter, and Alex is representing Dexter.
My boy.
And I will be, I think I'll be taking that. But we will see. We will debate it out. We will see who will win. That should be a lot of fun. And then After Dark is really cool. We have director Billy Pond coming on, who is the mind behind Circus of the Dead and Cowboys from Hell. He's kind of a local horror director, kind of a legend around here in Texas. And I'm really looking forward to getting to us to kind of get together and talk with him about his career. And obviously, I want to hear his take on all the movies that we fucking do. That's going to be awesome, just hearing his take, because he's a lot older than we are. He's got a lot more experience under his belt, and of course he's seen a shit ton more than probably we have. So I cannot wait to hear what he has to say. That's going to be a lot of fun.
It is, because I've been talking with him, and like he sounds like a big kid when he's talking about horror movies. Like he gets so excited, like constantly about it. He's like, "Oh man, have you seen this? Have you seen this? Have you seen this?" I'm like, "We've talked about it." He's like, "That's awesome." So he's going to be a great guest to have on for our podcast and After Dark.
Shit, that's really going to put the onus on me, because I need to make sure that the script that he gets that week is going to be fucking amazing. So I gotta make sure we have some good films selected out for that one. But yeah, so look forward to that. Any of our Patreons, anybody signed up for that, look for a new Bloodbath and a new After Dark every first of the month. That's our next one's lined up for March. We got cool things scheduled for the rest of the year. You'll hear about them. Just stay tuned. And bringing it down a little bit, kind of more of a personal note. And normally we don't get too far outside the realm of horror films, stuff like this on this podcast. But you know, it's got to be said. This is where we do our kind of anecdotes, our previous week stuff. But with all the stuff that's going on in the nation right now, there's just a lot of crazy division. And recently, I kind of had a personal interaction with someone on social media who kind of interjected themselves in a conversation I was having with somebody else, and it was about the podcast. I was shilling for the podcast. I was explaining it to somebody, and someone happened to see that conversation. It was a public forum. It was on Facebook, and this person jumped in there with basically throwing me the argument that the horror genre is kind of a negative influence on society as a whole. And I was really curious about this, so we kind of went back and forth a little bit, before I had to back away because it got a little too intense. But pretty much anything in this person's eyes, anything horror, the movies, games, books, whatever like that, it does nothing for society, because all it does is basically keeps people entrenched in negative thoughts and ideologies with whatever they're happening, whether it's supernatural horror or crime horror or whatever. This doesn't matter, is that constantly seeing that on screen, it desensitizes people, and it's just not good. It takes away, because people are constantly thinking about that. They're entrenched in this idea, and I couldn't disagree more.
I was going to say, first of all, desensitizing people to fear is probably the best way to bring people together, because the fear is what people react to, and I think that causes more issues than anything. So desensitizing people to fear, whether it just be the feeling of fear or actual real life stuff that they see in films, I think that's a good way to cope with stuff.
Oh, definitely. And I was kind of taken aback. I was surprised, because no one has come across. And what inspired me was with this kind of thing, with this kind of feedback I had from just a conversation, just me explaining the podcast to somebody, and then coming across this, having this whole kind of thing go down, and then you match it up with everything that's going on in the country right now. There's so much division and so much, hostility, permeating social media. My feed is just constantly inundated with just both sides, everything, just people just going to town on each other. And it made me think about the inclusiveness of the horror community. Now, whether it's horror movies, or it's horror games, or, hell, fucking RPGs, book series, classic, contemporary stuff, doesn't matter, is that I've been in the film industry going a little over 20 years now. And even that industry, it's a very, very small family. I think Eugene can attest to that, is that there really is it's a very small world working in film. But even in that, with such a small family, I have never before seen a level of inclusiveness like I have seen since we created this podcast.
Agreed.
Yeah, every single person who has read what we're about, has listened to an episode, it's the outpouring of support has been intense. And I was like shocked by it. I was like, wow, people, it's just been so positive. Whether they support us on Patreon or whether they listen to us every week or whatever, doesn't matter. Everyone has been open arms, completely welcoming us into the horror community. Even as a newbie, even as this is our first podcast, people were so open. They said, yes, do it, go for it. Every little bit contributes to it. This is bringing something to the table. And they jump on it and they support you. And I've never been so openly welcomed into any community than we have been in the horror community.
Hell, we're pretty new to this whole thing in general. I mean, you've been in the film industry, and this podcast being so new, having Rebecca Kennedy, somebody who's been in actual, in films with people like Nicolas Cage and Keanu Reeves, and on TV shows like Law & Order and like Criminal Minds, like somebody that's all the way out there was just like, yeah, no, absolutely, I will spend some time with you guys talking about what goes on in the community. That was just absolutely incredible.
And what's really awesome is the fact that, like with other horror podcasts or stuff like that, there's not like a rival. It's not like our podcast has to be better than theirs or something like that. In the horror community, people work together. You're not having these horror film directors they're going to try to fight each other or talk bad about each other. It's like everybody wants the horror community as a whole to be great and to be inclusive and to help each other get off the ground. And, it's like, they come on our podcast to promote their film or their podcast because, why can't people listen to our podcast and another horror podcast?
That's something I noticed on the Facebook pages too. We even get shout outs from other people's podcasts. They'll sit out and there's one that does like an every Monday shout out, and they shout us out, every week. Hey, check these guys out.
Oh yeah, that's Don Nelly, and he's been so cool. We didn't ask him to do that.
No, not at all.
He literally he takes it upon himself to find everybody who's involved in doing the same thing, no matter what version it is, and he blasts us because we go live. Every episode goes live on Sundays, so on Monday he is right there saying, "Boom! They've got new stuff out. Go check them out." And I didn't even ask to be on that list, because I pretty much handled the social media, but he just came across us and he added us to that breakdown. It was kind of like, holy shit. And we, like you said, with Rebecca coming on, with Matthew Mark Hunter coming on and talking about his career, he's up and coming. That kid's going to go places. He's only 19
freaking 19-year-old with like 90 films under his belt.
He's going to kill it. He's taking off. That's what he's going to do. The kid's going to be the next Lloyd fucking Kaufman. And then we got people like Billy Pond coming on, and other individuals that we have potentially lined up. I don't want to spoil anything there, but like you said, and like Eugene said, there is no rivalry.
No,
I haven't seen anyone talk down to anybody or say my podcast is this, or my podcast does this better, or my podcast does this more intensively. Or everybody's got their own focus. And unfortunately, in other podcasts, in the research that I've done, in the research that we have done, we see rivalry in between them. Who's going to be the next Joe Rogan? Or who's going to do this? Or who's at the top of the charts on this one?
I feel like that's because that's what it is. It's politics, it's romance, it's, it's all these other genres of life that are always, there's always conflict in these things. And then, then you say this guy's talking about how how it is a negative thing. It's not at all. Like, I don't know. That's why I love horror in general, is because you can go into a place that is mostly conflict free, except for you're facing fears. And I feel like that's what being a human is about. Living your life, and you take all the politics and crap out of all money out of all of it, and you put down something as primal as fear, then you get to actually feel like you're supposed to as a human. You're not in that daily grind. You get to be. You can take it. You go into a fantasy world somewhere else, and that it leaves open world discussions and stuff, that conflicts like mental health, you can talk about it, because like, okay, yeah, we just watched the same thing, this is how it made me feel, maybe somebody else feels the same way you do, and then you can talk it out, and you're not arguing about shit. Like, you say Joe Rogan, it's a great podcast and everything, but like, there's always just conflict, and you're always talking about problems in the world. And fuck those problems, man. They're not even a thing. Getting fucking murdered in your sleep is a thing, and we should probably talk about that.
Yeah, we get enough of negativity. That's with you guys and everybody that helps out, including Floyd, including our editing team, our guests. You know, that was the big thing, is bringing something positive and unifying to our audience, and recognizing that I actually had somebody say that one thing that we were lacking was more discord between the three of us.
It's going to be hard to find. I mean, that's going to... we can have, like, our little banters, like on the Bloodbath, we can sit there and battle it out, but, like, you know, I'm not going to sit here and disagree with you on something because, like, it's your opinion. And with these short films, I've watched a lot more short films with this podcast, because we've gone over some stuff that's real underground and stuff that you guys have done that I've looked at. And, like, just seeing comments and people backing up these little short films, they're like everybody's idea, and everybody jumps in and they're like, hey, go do it. This is what would make it a little better, but don't necessarily take my advice. Make it your vision. And I've seen that a lot in the horror community, a lot more than outside, because everybody's trying to judge those movies way harder. I don't know. There's something about the horror community that is just completely inclusive, and people actually give a shit about other people. It's not about the money. It's not about the fame. It's about getting your ideas out there and, you know, seeing the darker parts of people's minds, because that's what's interesting in people. Everybody works their jobs. Everybody has an opinion about politics, and everybody is worried about money. Like, but I want to know your deepest, darkest thoughts, and that's a way to let them out, and people won't judge you. And there's just this quiet community that is built up that will continue to stay that way because of the support from everybody, the listeners, people that are just interested in it, listening to it, to all the way up to the, you know, top producers. It's one big community. There's no rivalry, I guess, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's the only genre of film where you can take, you know, $10,000 and you and your buddies go shoot something, and all of a sudden becomes a cultural success. You know, where, you know, with dramas and romantic comedies, you have to have big name stars for anybody to even consider seeing it, or expensive action scenes, which most low budget people can't afford to do well, or special effects or anything like that. But when you look at, you know, movies like Paranormal Activity and the Blair Witch Project and, you know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Night of the Living Dead, where it's you get a couple of people, they, you know, throw a little bit of money together, no named people at all in any of those, and it's like, we're just going to go set out to make something, and then all of a sudden, cultural successes, we've all heard of them, we've all seen them, right? And, you know, some low budget movies are bad. You know, some of them are, you know, come out to be super great. But even a lot of, like, the really bad ones are still fun. They're like, they really are. And the thing is, a lot of it, I feel like in some of those movies, is done on purpose. It's like, you know, I want to make something that's low budget and fun, and we get that. So, you know, we've got a couple of those on the podcast and falls today on the wood chipper or something like that.
Hell yeah. But it struck me, and I felt I wanted to kind of comment on that, you know, it's not, you know, our listeners are why we do this. Our listeners are what make us. We wouldn't be able to do this if we didn't have an audience. And I went into it when I came up with the idea for this and brought it to Alex and Eugene and pretty much the team that helps to make this happen on the back end. When I brought this out, I was like, we're gonna do a podcast, and I kind of took Kevin Smith's advice, is just do it, get out there and do it, talk about what you love. He pretty much started the Smodcast, pretty much started him and his friend, Scott Mosier, him and his longtime friend Scott Mosier, just talking about shit that they found funny, is pretty much it, And Comic Book Men was just guys standing around a comic book store talking about comics. And that went for 7 seasons on AMC. So Kevin Smith
TV.
Yeah, so Kevin Smith went, gave me that advice, and a good friend of mine, John, gave me some good advice on that as well, where it was pretty much talk about what you know, talk about what you love. Other people love it too. They may like to hear what you have to say. You may be able to teach them things. You may be able to make people laugh. And I just went into it with that mentality. I had no idea what we were going to get, and my heart just is just overwhelmed with just how welcoming, how supportive, and how inspiring the horror community has been thus far. It is there are no outsiders, maybe because we are all outsiders in that respect, but we all find a common a unifying theme between all of us, in that we enjoy being scared. We enjoy the concept of the human response to fear.
Makes me tingly.
And we go after that. We seek it out. And everybody does it in different ways. But we all accept that we are all afraid of something. Something gets us. Something gives us gives us the shivers, the chills, down in your joeys. Okay? And we all look for that, and there's so many groups, so we all enjoy it in some way. Maybe we're satisfying some darker urge, doesn't matter. I don't want to digress on the nature of human fear, but maybe it is that commonality that kind of unifies us all. And we ran into that. We ran headlong into it, not knowing what we were going to get, and it has been an amazing experience. And this here being our 20th episode, Week in Horror has 20 is turning 20. So we've done 20 episodes, and I felt I needed to kind of bring that up because it was pretty amazing, especially after that little tete-a-tete that I had on Facebook, on social media. It was just like, wow, I had to say something about it.
Seriously though, and like you were just saying, our listeners are why we do this, and we want you guys to communicate with us as much as possible. Let us know what's up. You want to talk about something? Cool, we're here. You want to talk about horror? Great. If not, something else, we're here to talk. We love to engage with anybody that wants to engage with us. So thank you guys. Yeah. We're always here for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Movies that we've already talked about, maybe you can bring up something that we don't know about the movies, because we're always looking to learn new stuff, or maybe a new movie we should include or something like that. If you have a little B film or something like that, hey, not a lot of people have seen it, but you should check it out. We're down to check it out. Definitely let us know.
Always.
We'll sit here and watch it together.
But yeah, really, really big thank you to all of our listeners. You guys are absolutely fucking amazing. It's blown my mind how cool, just absolutely fucking cool this community has been. Just embracing us as new as we are to this. Well, I know we're improving with every episode, but it's been really, really cool. And I hope we get to churn out here's to the next year, or however many years we end up doing this.
Here's to the next 20, at the very minimum.
As long as you keep listening, we will keep running our fucking mouths. So.
Absolutely.
Something some of us are very good at.
Well, I'm old. I have a lot of stories to tell.
You're just talking about your big beard there, stroking it. Now listen here, kids.
Now listen here, Sonny.
Back in my day.
All right. That's enough mushy gushy stuff. Our people want to hear about horror movies.
I want to get into the mushy gushy insides.
Yes.
Yes, the mushy gushy stuff that's underneath. All right. Eugene's gonna kick us off. What do we have this week?
All right, so we got actually a little gem that came out February 9th, 1990, right? Called The Haunting of Morella, right?
Ooh,
yes. Directed by Jim Wynorski. I might have butchered that.
Bless
maybe.
I think it's Wynorski.
Wynorski, yeah. It's Jim Wynorski, right? produced by Roger Corman and starring David McCallum and a bunch of other people who.
Okay, Nicole Eggert was in there.
Oh yes. So you got Nicole
Yes.
Eggert, Lana Clarkson, and Maria Ford.
Ooh, Lana Clarkson.
Ooh, you just touched something. Show me on the doll where Eugene just touched you.
Okay, before we jump into this, I gotta ask. Okay, so I've seen this movie a number of times.
I bet
right?
you have, you
But-
dirty,
but-
dirty.
So when we brought this up, when I brought this script up, Eugene and Alex had not seen it yet. They did not even know that this movie existed. Because it is a lesser known one. Most people don't know. But I saw this movie come out. I was like, we've got to talk about The Haunting of Morella. It is so fucking wild. And so did you guys got a chance to watch it? Or at least scenes from it?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
I definitely got the chance to watch it.
Yeah,
Okay, so this is it. Your first takeaway. You've seen it one time. This is your first time seeing it. This thing came out in 1990. This is fucking 30 years old. Okay? I want to know what you guys thought.
So this was my first take on it, right? And like I'm a filmmaker, so I always look at stuff like like the camera angles and lighting and stuff. It just it kind of jumps out at me, and I was like, this really, really, really looks like a Skinamax movie that comes on at 11 o'clock at night.
okay, good, because that's...
I mean, like spot on. Even like the fuzzy haze they put over the lens and stuff like that.
Oh god, and you feel like
when
you're a
they-
fucking fly on the wall. All the angles are from like a table
gotta get
or
that
like
filter.
behind a couch.
They gotta filter it in order to kind of make the girls look prettier.
Yo, this was straight up an honest opinion. It is straight up a movie that some kid would watch late at night while their parents weren't awake so that they could
I shouldn't be watching
catch
this.
a little glimpse of some fucking mostly clean. It's just like lesbian witches and tits. So many tits. Not even
So
like
many tits.
not even just like, oh, look at boobs, like just the cleavage play, like the way that they just shove them in your face from the fucking beginning of the movie. Like as they're fucking murdering that daughter, there's the one chick that like looks away and it's like I don't the acting at that very moment, that's when I was like, okay, what am I watching now? Because it was like, oh, that was terrible. But then I was like, oh, they're focusing on her fucking chest. And then the whole movie was just about like, how many women can take their top off?
Yeah.
It's the kind of movie when you're little, and so you're like watching it in the living room, right, where you're trying to listen for your parents, and then at the same time you have like an innocent channel on your previous button on your remote, so that like if you hear a noise you hit previous and goes in like an innocent channel.
I was gonna like say something like you perv, but that's exactly how anybody born in that era lived their lives.
I tell you, the scene with her and the dude in the rain is that I will forever. Whenever I think is, I always go back to that. That was a smoking hot scene.
That was a good scene.
I mean,
no, it definitely.
I was 10. I was 10 when this movie came out, so I think I probably saw it when I was like 12 or 13. So I was really kind of, the hormones were going, oh my god, lesbian witches.
Oh my god! Somebody told me there was boobs in this movie.
So many boobs.
Oh man.
Well, but this all harkens back because this was produced by Roger Corman, and it's awesome because anybody who's familiar, if you're not familiar with Roger Corman's previous work, because the guy is the dude is a legend. His filmography stretches back, all the way back to 1954. He kicked it off with Highway Dragnet, Monster from the Ocean Floor, stuff like that, and he did he was all over the place as far as genre goes. He did sci-fi, he did monster horror, he did westerns, all kinds of stuff. But it was in the 60s when he's really developed his credibility, because originally Corman was doing basically 2 films. He would basically do like a double film contract where he would do 2 films, and each one shot for $100,000 or less, and each film would have like a shooting day of 10 days. And so he was just churning out movies. So just like boom, 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 directing them, producing them, just making movies fucking happen. So I think like in 1956 alone, he had 4 films come out. But in like 1957, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 films come out in 1957. So he's churning out like, and then after that, like another 9, 10 there. It was nuts. The guy was just like a filmmaking machine. Okay, he worked with everybody. He worked with all the way back to Vincent Price. Okay,
that's a name you don't hear very often.
Damn.
Yeah. So, but it was in the 60s where he kicked off what's called his Poe cycle. Okay, because he really, really, really wanted to adapt the horror stories, the stories of Macabre from Edgar Allan Poe. He wanted to adapt those to the screen, and that was his opportunity came in 1960 after he hit critical acclaim with The Wasp Woman. So many people who know Roger Corman know The Wasp Woman is one of his more popular films. But he really wanted to do Poe adaptations, and he was able to kind of renegotiate his deal. He doubled his money and got his shooting time increased and only did 1 film. So instead of doing 2 films for $100K each, he wanted to do 1 film for $200K, and then with a 15-day shoot time instead of 10. Okay, so shooting for pretty much 2 weeks, $200,000, shoot a fucking movie, and he did the adaptation of the Fall of the House of Usher.
You say that 3 times real fast?
Yeah, I know, right? And his pretty was House of Usher, and it was a critically acclaimed, just an excellent fucking film, proving that he had done that he could pull that off. He directed The Little Shop of Horrors in 1960. That was his next one. That was one with Jack Nicholson, the black and white one, where it was not humorous at all. It was the plant was actually telepathic, and it didn't actually talk, but it spoke telepathically to Jack Nicholson and slowly drove him insane, like that. Where that was a dark and it wasn't the musical that everybody knows with Rick Moranis and Steve Martin and Bill Murray. So it wasn't like that. The original Little Shop of Horrors was quite dark and very graphic. And then he got a second shot when he did The Pit and the Pendulum in 1961. And then from that point on, he was just boom. He was just like, yes, Poe, Tales of Terror, Tower of London, The Raven, The Terror, The Haunted Palace. He's just churning them out. Okay, but eventually that cycle came to an end as taste changed in the 70s. It kind of started winding down, and he wasn't able to continue doing Poe adaptations anymore. And so that eventually that cycle ended. He continued on doing other things, just still killing it. So many major films. He did some Lovecraft. He did the Dunwich Horror in 1970. He actually worked on The Godfather Part 2, which is kind of cool. He produced Death Race 2000, Cannonball, all kinds of interesting stuff. But 1990 rolls around, and Roger Corman's got to bug up his ass to do another film in the vein. It's been almost 30 years since he was first doing it, right? And he's got to bug up his ass to do a movie, to produce a film in the vein of his classic Poe films.
The Edgar Allan Poe influence.
Yes, and The Haunting of Morella is based off of a kind of like a very smattering of Poe influences are in there.
There's definitely a lot of them.
Yes, and that's what we got. That was his attempt. He wanted to see if those adaptations still translated to the 90s. It's like we're in a whole new decade. He wanted to start out the decade and see if this is what was going to work. And unfortunately, it didn't. But we got a skin-tastic little lesbian witch film with some decent effects. Some of them were pretty good.
Yes, the opening scene was just killer, man.
Okay, so I mean, the guy knows how to produce a film. He does. Maybe the director wasn't totally on the ball. Maybe he should have directed it himself. Okay, but you could definitely you could feel the Edgar Allan Poe energy coming off of this thing.
It definitely, for sure. And growing up, that was one of my first horror encounters. Was a book of Alfred Hitchcock stories and a book of Edgar Allan Poe stories from my uncle when I was I must have been 8 or 9 when I got these books. And I got real into Edgar Allan Poe just because of it was just a dark place to go to as a kid. I don't know. It was cool. I've always really liked that kind of those dark stories. But in this movie, like you said, is based off of an Edgar Allan Poe story. It's actually a short story just titled Morella, and it is very loosely based because in the Morella short story, there is a woman, and she, long story short, she is married to a guy, and she's like teaching him all this philosophy stuff, and he gets like worried about stuff that she's talking about, and like wishes for her death. And then in childbirth, she dies, and the child, as the child gets older and older, looks a lot like the mother of the child, and then like the dad goes and gets the child baptized, and then the evil. So the movie kind of touches on it in the fact that the mom wants to come back as the daughter, but in the original story, it really has like not a whole lot to do with the lesbian witches.
So no lesbian. I was going to say no lesbian witches.
No, not in the original Edgar Allan Poe story. But that was so long ago, and even in the movie, like I was doing research on the movie, and people were like, "Yeah, like they even show like a thong that's not even like period relevant in the movie," and it's just like, yeah, I guess I didn't think about it at the time, but yeah, that was a thing. But yeah, like you said, it's a smattering of Edgar Allan Poe influences in this. I mean, like you see some stuff like The Raven in there. I mean, you could even go as far as like Alone. But I think the reason that this one didn't hit as hard as his other ones and it didn't bring the Poe thing back was because it was so spread out. There wasn't like one. If he would have focused more on the actual story of Morella, calling the movie The Haunting of Morella, I think they could have taken it in a different way and made this a lot better.
Yeah, they really could have, because like I was sitting there, I was doing a little bit of research on the director, and like erotic thrillers. Lack of
it's not the Conquer Worm.
Question mark?
I guess that's what you would call it, kind of thing. That was kind of like his like forte. Like that was what he liked to do. He did the Bear Winch Project, which was like a like a sexploitation parody of the Blair Witch Project kind of thing. And so, you know, like the premise, it's a cool story. And the premise was there, but probably like another director, you know, one that's more story driven instead of boob driven.
Just because his early Poe stuff was so good, though.
You gotta imagine. Roger Corman's on set. He's producing this film. He's been in the industry for almost 40 years at this point. Okay, do you argue with him? Really?
Depends on the paycheck, I guess.
I guess, you know.
Roger Corman wants titties. Roger Corman's going to get fucking titties.
That's true.
Roger Corman wants titties. Where's Roger Corman's titties?
Where's Roger Corman's titties? Titties on set, please. Titties on set.
Titties on set. And so this actually brings us to our what we want to know. There aren't a lot of Poe adaptations out there. There really isn't. There's a handful of some other places and stuff like that. I know The Simpsons did one on The Raven, and you also have the John Cusack movie. But what is your favorite Edgar Allan Poe adaptations? There's not a lot out there, and there hasn't been for the last couple of years. So, out of the ones out there, what's your favorite one? Or what would be a story that hasn't been adapted yet that you would like to see? Let us know in the comment section below.
I don't care what Rotten Tomatoes says. I really enjoyed the John Cusack one, the Raven. I thought he was brilliant. I love John Cusack. You know, I've loved him ever since Say Anything. But I thought he was really good. I thought he embraced the character of Poe, and he just fucking ran with it. And I enjoyed that movie a hell of a lot more than apparently the critics did, personally.
Yeah, I actually really like The Simpsons. It was one of their very first Treehouse horror ones, like, you know, like I said, early 90s, and they did the Raven kind of thing where Lisa was reading it to Bart kind of thing. And Homer played the main character and Bart was like the Raven kind of thing. And it sounds like something that it would be funny because it's, you know, The Simpsons and stuff like that. But it captured the essence, because The Raven's my favorite poem, and it captured the essence of the poem. Like, they really did a really good job of it, kind of thing. So definitely something to check out.
Awesome.
So JL, what do we have next?
Yes. So we're gonna go back 1 year, February 10th, 1989. We have a particularly gory little entry. But The Fly 2 came out February 10th, 1989. The sequel to David Cronenberg's The Fly, starring Jeff Goldblum. But this one was directed by Chris Wales and written by Mick Garris and Frank fucking Darabont.
Why do you say
And
it
the
like
Wheats
Frank
brothers,
fucking
yes.
Darabont?
Because that's how you say his name.
Because it's Frank fucking
It's
Darabont.
Frank motherfucking Darabont.
You can interpret it. You can interpret that shit both ways.
Yeah, you can. That's why I asked.
Yes. So, but yes, directed by Chris Wallace. Screenplay by Mick Garris, Frank Darabont, and Ken and Jim Wheats, the Wheats brothers. A lot of legend went into writing this. This was actually one of Frank Darabont's earliest films that he was I think it was like the fourth film he was ever involved with. And this starred Eric Stoltz, the ginger we all love to not remember.
Yeah, that one guy.
He's been in a ton of shit. Eric Stoltz, Daphne Zuniga, Daphne, Lee Richardson, Harley Cross, and John Getz. Oh, I love Daphne. She's gonna be the next Texas Frightmare Weekend. Ooh, God, she's.
Can't wait to meet her.
So absolutely cool. But anyhow, this film picked up almost shortly after the events of the first Fly, where Seth Brundle is dead, and his girlfriend at the time, Veronica Quaife, is delivering their child. Okay? And unfortunately, she dies in childbirth. And that's one of those terrible things. Gina Davis did not come back to reprise the role from the first film because, you die in the first 5 minutes. She wasn't interested in that. But anyway, the film follows Seth Brundle's son, who also has fly and human DNA, but to a different degree. And as he rapidly ages in the scientific kind of laboratory environment that they have him in, he begins to uncover the darker influences around and what they plan on doing with him. And of course, shit goes completely fucking haywire after that, to much, much more gorier effect than the first film, which is saying something.
Yeah. Much gorier.
I feel like they relied on the gore more than anything in this movie. Now, it's not that it's a bad movie like the story, because the first one was a turning point, I think, in that body horror. It was just a really good movie. And then you got like Jeff Goldblum, who just doesn't even come up in the second one, well, except for in the flashback of the pictures.
I think he had some like archive footage that was played on like a
Yeah, because that one character, she was recording the transformation or something like that from the first one. Yeah.
I think they crutched too hard on the second. I mean, it was really hard to live up to Jeff Goldblum and The Fly 1. I mean, it would be really hard to live up to that story, because then, where do you go from there? And they went to really the only place you could go. Cool, the kid gets born, it's got the DNA, and then he's stuck in that deal. For me, it was kind of a slow burn to a kind of predictable end. That's what I was trying to say. But that's my personal opinion. Looking this movie up and reading into it, a lot of people really enjoyed this one as much as the first one. I did not feel like it lived up to the first movie.
It really didn't, because the thing about the first movie, it goes into how, like, a scientific experiment, and how just a slight miscalculation, just a slight thing, just a fly entering, and that's all it takes for something to go like awry in something like that. And to me, like, it really kind of said something, because he tried to do something great, and now he's facing the consequences of it. Whereas when The Fly 2, he's just kind of just born this way. Kind of thing.
No rhyme or reason. It's just
it felt like it was, well, we need a human fly mix again. So how are we going to do this? Like, it just to me, like, it just, it's not a bad movie, but it just, I don't know, it felt unnecessary.
I was gonna say, does it feel unnecessary?
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt that while it wasn't, I think it suffered from sequelitis, and may have been a bit of a cash grab, just kind of just grabbing on the name itself being The Fly. But I will admit there were some decent effects. There were some decent shots. Like the whole, like, pulling it, the eye, pulling his eye out of his head. That scene as he mutated into what he was becoming. There's this effect that opening shot where, the larval sac splits open. She gives birth to this larval sac. This like, really was like, oh my god, and then it splits open and there's a normal baby inside.
Yeah, so they
Okay.
actually, one of the things was the original rating of this movie was actually rated X because there was so much like gore and like body horror and stuff like that to it, kind of thing. And the only
Remember
thing
when they
is
used
like,
to do that in the 90s when they would rate like gory movies X? That was awesome.
Yes.
You'd always look for them at like Blockbuster or where's the secret section?
For our younger listeners, X was the rating that they utilized before it became NC-17.
Yes.
yeah, because NC-17 sounds like so prim and proper instead of rated X.
Sounds like I could watch, or my kid could watch it.
Yeah.
Yes. 2 X's away from the really good shit.
2 X's away from Haunting of Morella.
It's probably like at 1X.
Nah, that'd be a 1X, yeah.
Yeah, it was 1X, maybe an X and a half, maybe an X and a half.
Man, there were some good tits.
But
in that movie.
it was Tom Sullivan behind these effects, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was Tom Sullivan behind it, and the actual biggest thing, that's usually seen as lauded most was the elevator crush scene kind of thing, which happened to actually air on network television, completely
no shit.
unedited.
Oh damn!
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, people would be pissed.
Yeah.
People were freaking out, man.
that was actually one of the biggest things, was because when it comes to nowadays, anything on network television is censored and stuff like that and everything like that to make sure it's PC and family friendly. But the first time The Fly 2 aired on television, completely uncensored all the way through, and I remember because I caught it on TV when I was little, and I was like, what's that guy doing in the elevator? And all of a sudden his head crushed and fluid flies out and all this kind of stuff. I was like, ah,
And it was all downhill from there.
And then it was all downhill from there. And here I am on a podcast today.
But he came up with some wild shit because I think he worked predominantly with Sam Raimi on the Evil Dead series, and you could see some of that influence kind of poke its head out here in The Fly 2.
Yeah, and he actually, so he worked on the Evil Dead series. He basically led the special effects department on the Army of Darkness kind of thing, and has just done awesome work on it. I mean, you want body horror, that's one of the guys you call.
Awesome. And that's kind of curious what we want to ask our audience. So, everybody out there listening, what was your opinion of The Fly 2? Because it's a divisive film. Some people believe that it doesn't get the kind of credit that it deserves, that it was decent, that it had its merits, and people kind of lambast it for no reason. But there's some people who fucking hate it and swear against it and think it should never have been made, and Eric Stoltz is the worst ginger to come around. So I'm kind of curious.
That was wow.
I have heard so many people shit on Eric Stoltz. The man does not deserve it. He is a very talented actor.
Gingers do have souls.
I happen to like Eric Stoltz. I liked him a lot in his small little scene in Prophecy with Christopher Walken.
Oh yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah. So, but anyway, let us know what you thought of The Fly 2. What was your opinion? What do you think could have been done better? What do you think should have been made? Anything at all. We'd love to hear what you think of the film. The opinions are so divisive, so that should make it for some interesting conversation. All right, Mr. Alex.
Oh, me?
What do we got next?
We are going to dive into a very happy part of this podcast.
Oh, fuck me.
Coming in February 12th, 1993, Dead Alive, also known as Brain Dead, premiered. First of all, Peter Jackson, director, always phenomenal. Steven Sinclair wrote this. Tiffany Balmain, Diana, I'm going to fuck this up, Peñalver, Elizabeth Moody, and of course the Kung Fu ninja priest, Stuart Davini, playing Father Magruder, who kicks ass for the Lord. in this
Literally.
this fantastic film. Okay, so this movie follows, I guess essentially at the beginning of the movie, there's a monkey who is being captured by some poachers in.
Okay, make it clear.
Sorry, it's a Sumatran rat monkey that they're capturing to bring to a zoo, and the American dude who's capturing the monkey gets scratched and bit up during one of the most epic car chases I've ever seen in my life. No, just kidding. So anyways, he gets bit scratched up, and then some of the indigenous locals are like, oh, he's got the scratch or the bite or whatever, and cuts his arms off and then kills him. And long story short, ends up in the States. An overprotective mother of God, I always forget the dude's name in the movie. Lionel.
Leonard. Or Lionel.
Yeah, Lionel. The main character, Lionel, and his mom, played by Elizabeth Moody, she gets bit in the arm by this rat monkey because she's snooping online. She's being a nosy ass bitch. But that's snooping on her kid, going out on a date, and she gets bit and turns into a zombie, and then commence hilarity. But so it spreads, and the whole movie is so trippy. And like going back, because I had to rewatch it, because I was like, oh my god, yeah, that's right. And so I rewatched it again, and I think I enjoyed it more now, like that I had to like pick it apart, because you've got. The way that this movie runs for me, I was watching this movie now, and I'm like, the shooting style of this movie, I'm thinking Beetlejuice meets like Evil Dead. And I say Beetlejuice because they've got some of those like the dusty from the corner in a dark room shots of the Lionel and Paquita, the love interest, and it reminded me so much of like shots that you see in Beetlejuice. But then you get to the lawnmower strapped to your chest scene. And that is straight up, Evil Dead. It was just fantastic. It's great. And the coolest thing about this movie is they're like zombies in this movie, but you can't kill them by shooting them in the head, or you can't destroy the brain. They're just there. You got to destroy the entire body.
Yeah, it's a trip. It is something. It's one of Peter Jackson's early films, and it didn't actually do that well in the box office when it first came out. It just really didn't. And that's
I wonder
why.
So much fucking blood.
Oh my god. So much blood. Like I'm curious, like on set, like how much blood did they use?
Dude,
like if
there
it's just
was
like
more bodies that got ripped in half, and when the fucking woman punches her arm through the back of the other fucking woman. Do you know what I'm talking about? She punches her in the back of the head and it comes out her fucking mouth.
Yeah, I remember that.
Jesus Christ. And then the fucking hand reaches and touches the other. I was like, what is going on? And then the fucking baby. Oh my god.
You're talking about the baby. What about the fucking living intestines?
You fucked the living intestines. That baby was fucking terrifying, giggling all the fucking time. And she's like trying to fucking blender this little fucker, and it's just like, and then runs away. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the pure. You were talking like the way the blood affects, like Quentin Tarantino style, where you just have gushes, like shooting, like powerful, like there's no way the human body can generate this much pressure in blood.
When they were doing the scene with the half dude, the dude in the leather jacket from the graveyard, and he's like spinning on the lawnmower, and then he like grabs his arm and he stops spinning, you just see the jets squirting out of the lawnmower. But it totally adds to... It's totally okay in that situation. Like, yeah, obviously it's super fucking fake. But, like, bring more blood! It's great.
More!
Oh, my God. I'm sorry. I'm, like, fanboying over this movie because I didn't realize that... I saw it when I was younger, but I didn't watch most of it because it was so gory that I, like, looked away most of the movie. I even looked away this time when I was watching it. There was one point where I was like, I don't know. I should go look at my phone or something. There's so much fucking blood. It's a great movie. I love this movie.
Yeah, I felt like Peter Jackson was just like, more blood. Sir, we've already used 100 gallons of fake blood. I said more blood.
That's why we brought in 10,000 gallons, dude. Put some more blood in there.
But it actually kind of marks his style of his classic films, because most people know Peter Jackson from the Lord of the Rings series and the Hobbit series, and he's gone on to do, other stuff from there. But a lot of his early stuff gets looked over because it isn't like the Lord of the Rings, the King Kong, some people seem like the Lovely Bones and everything. But we talk about movies like Meet the Feebles that has puppets in it. You're looking at like Bad Taste, and even a lot of people, the Michael J. Fox film, The Frighteners. These are films like not a lot of people necessarily talk about like right off the bat when they think of like Peter Jackson. But you got to start somewhere, and we're gonna start with 50 gallons of blood.
I could tell you, Dead Alive has the unique honor of being one of only 2 films that have ever made me physically sick to my stomach watching. And I'm not going to say what the other one is, but this one was the worst. There was another one.
Two Girls, One
this
Cup.
one is like, holy. And actually, I could stomach that. I could stomach that more than I could stomach this film. There was, I cannot believe, I'm going to talk about this.
Well, you can't say what the other one is. You have to wait.
I'm not going to.
Okay, good.
Until we covered it on the podcast. But they touched on a lot of it. The third act lawnmower scene. Okay, super zombies that jump up out of the ground and shit because they're all super toxified and stuff. The undead baby running around like climbing on the walls and shit, and they're trying to stick it in a blender to kill it. The living intestines, the entrails that fell out of a zombie, yet the entrails themselves are fucking alive and are like running around and shit, making noises.
Keep trying to choke them out and shit.
But it was the fucking dinner scene. Ugh.
Okay, which one?
Okay, the dinner scene when Lionel's mother is still turning in. She's a zombie now.
Oh, and like her fucking face falls off.
And fuck, and her shit is like falling off, and for God's sakes, Peter Jackson, he has them eating custard, for like dessert, and her fucking ear falls off into it. And she's like, and just starts gobbling her own fucking ear, and I almost fucking lost it. Because the scene, oh fuck, and when she pops her like fucking pustule into the other guy's dish, and he eats it and doesn't realize it, and he's like, what the fuck? It was... It was so fucking, that movie. Oh god, it's making my stomach cramp thinking about it. Now, that being said,
okay, can I just? There's one scene that keeps popping through my head because you said dinner scene, and I said which one. And when he's got like all 4 of them sitting at the table trying to feed them all, the one he's like, use your spoon, and he fucking sticks the spoon through the back of his head, and the other dude like grabs the shit off the spoon and eats it. And then they like 2 zombies start fucking on the table. That was at that point I was like, okay, I don't know how to feel right now.
Was it the priest?
Yeah, it was the priest and the other one. They start flirting with each other, and then that one dude like knocks on the door, and Lionel goes out the door, and you could just hear like, coming from the thing. He comes in, and the priest is fucking that one chick on the table. The one dude's got a spoon through the back of his head. Oh, it was ridiculous.
I'm picturing the audience's reaction right now, like people listening to it going, what the fuck?
Oh, this movie was
so good.
It's so much fun though.
Yes, the lawnmower scene was fucking fantastic. The I kick ass for the Lord scene with the priest when he jumps up in there.
I kick ass for the Lord.
He's fucking like kickboxing the goddamn taekwondoing the fucking limbs off the zombies.
He's kicking limbs off that one dude. Then he kicks oh my god. Yeah, sorry, then kicks the head up in the air. I'm not going to ruin that scene because that's fucking hilarious.
But there was some brilliance. There was some serious brilliance in this movie. But yes, it has the unique distinction of being one of the few that have almost made me fucking throw up the minute I saw it. I did not know that I could. I've seen a lot of fucking horror movies. I've seen some gnarly shit. Okay, like 120 Days of Sodom. A Serbian Tale. Okay, and I can sit through those without wincing, and this one got me. Just hats off to Peter Jackson.
Well,
Woof.
when Peter Jackson commits 100%, he commits. He doesn't do anything half-assed.
God damn.
Yeah, just ugh.
I'm just like trying to go over this. I'm like rewatching the whole movie in my head because it's just fucking fantastic.
Oh,
so definitely go check that one out. It is called
the fucking embalming scene with Lionel.
Oh my god! I told you to wait here. Oh my god! And then he grabs the sandwich off her stomach.
This shit is fucking insane.
Oh my god, it's nuts. And the thing is it's like a comedy. It's fucking hilarious. Like the whole way through, they just keep saying things, and it's just like I was cracking up the whole time. But then you feel like you want to puke. And then it's like, man, I'm just trying to like eat my lunch and watch this movie, and I had to put my food down, and the cool concept to me was like, you can't just kill the zombies. Like there was no like good way to do it. They were so fucking resilient. And then like they're in the kitchen, and she sticks that one bitch to the light on the wall. Her whole fucking face lights up for like 5 scenes. She's just hanging from the wall with light coming out of her fucking face.
Dude, when the zombies get fucking toxified, they jump out of the ground like super zombies.
They try to poison them, bury them, and they get fucking stronger. Like, oh no.
And then when Lionel's mother finally mutates into whatever the fuck she was
that
becoming,
big titty,
like,
big ass, fucking long fingernail giant. What the fuck was that?
Come to mother.
A mother. Nobody can love you like a mother can. Sucks him back into the fucking womb. Like,
So gross.
oh my god, that movie. Seriously, the movie is called Dead Alive. Go fucking watch it right now. You can stream it on YouTube if you want to. It's fucking amazing.
Oh,
and
dude.
Quite honestly, like you said, Peter Jackson's got his fucking run, but this was probably, he just took so many different styles of movie and then added comedy to it and fucking killed it. It was great. It was a good movie. That was my favorite Peter Jackson film. But I want to know from the audience, what is your favorite Peter Jackson film? Because he's got so many good ones. I like his off-kilter shit. Are you more into like his more mainstream stuff? Let us know, definitely. I'd like to discuss some more Peter Jackson stuff, so hit us up.
Fuck yeah. Frighteners was really, really good.
Frighteners
I
was
really
good.
liked Frighteners. Michael J. Fox, he was fucking awesome. But I'm a big fan of also Meet the Feebles. So
I haven't watched that yet, and it sounds like it's gonna be.
For anyone not familiar, I will preface with this. I won't spoil anything. Meet the Feebles was a puppet character film by Peter Jackson. Imagine Sesame Street if it were shot on Skid Row and everyone was addicted to crack. It is absolutely fucking nuts, but an awesome, awesome fucking movie. So, I'm gonna need some fucking Mylanta. My stomach is not working.
It makes me question what Peter Jackson was into, like in the early '90s, late '80s, early '90s.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's like,
90s.
I'm gonna do the Lord of the Rings.
He's like, man, that was fun. I have a different idea though.
And see, that was fucking crazy for me, is because in his early films, Bad Taste, in Meet the Feebles, and Dead Alive, he honed his craft, a lot of his techniques that he utilized later on. So when watching Lord of the Rings, and I had seen Dead Alive, that movie is fucking burned into my goddamn brain. But watching Lord of the Rings, the very first one, Fellowship of the Ring, it blew my mind that when Frodo is on Weathertop and he puts the ring on and can see the ring wraiths for what they really look like as the kings, that makeup, the makeup, how they designed those characters is extremely similar to how he designs his other villains of like supernatural nature. Like, so you see that similar effect in Dead Alive, in Bad Taste. Okay, so yeah, he's got his tropes, and you'll recognize them immediately. So if you go back and you watch Bad Taste, something like that, you'll say, "Holy shit, that looks really fucking similar." He's really fond of his certain camera techniques, like I call it like the swoop in zoom, where he kind of swoops into the face, for like a Dutch angled close up. He that's one of his trademarks. He does it throughout all of his movies. So, but yeah, hard fucking core. So.
Awesome.
But Eugene, what do we got next, man? Carry us on out of the zombie territory.
Something a little bit less bloody. We got a slasher film.
By comparison, yes.
Yeah, by comparison, still a slasher film though. It was really. I actually saw this in theaters. It was released February 13th, 2009. It is Friday the 13th. The reboot.
The reboot.
The reboot of it. So it was directed by Marcus Napil, right? And it is starring Jared Padalecki. Pronounce that right? Padalecki. One day I get that right. Jared Padalecki.
Padalecki.
You just say P and then wiggle your tongue a little bit and end it with an I.
Padalecki. Jared.
Eugene is the guy who goes Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
The quintessential moment is in Army of Darkness where he has to recite that saying before picking up the Necronomicon. All right, well, I said the words, so...
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, kind of thing.
All right, then.
But also has Danielle Panabaker, Amanda... Who cast these people? And Derek Mears.
Who named these people?
Who named their parents? 10 years from now, we're going to have one of them actually on our show, and they're like,
yeah, just kidding. Love you, Jared Padalecki.
Yeah.
He's local. He's a local boy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Him and Jensen Ackles, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're from down here.
Oh, that's awesome.
They own a bar on 6th Street.
You better go there at some point, then.
We could go there now and make Last Call.
Ooh, interesting. That would be
We'd have to haul ass.
Yeah.
It takes like 2.5 hours.
Well, our film opens up with, of course, people at Crystal Lake, right, doing the whole camping thing.
What the fuck do they keep going back there for?
I don't know.
This is a reboot. It's a reboot. We don't
it's
know.
Still the first time, and so of course, what Jason does, what he does best, right, and kills a bunch of people, right. But it does have that really cool shot where he has the axe and he's about to swing and like kill that one girl, and then like cuts. And so Jared plays the brother of one of the girls who was at the initial, massacre kind of thing. And he ends up going out to try to track her down. He runs into a group of teenagers or early 20s, whatever age they're trying to go for. And so he's looking for his sister. They're trying to go to the Lake's cabin to party and, do what, teenagers do and all this other kind of stuff. And they run into Jason, and Jason starts killing a whole bunch of them. A whole bunch of them.
Pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, that's about it. I mean,
that was one of the big drawbacks that hurt the film, because there was technically it's not a reboot of Friday the 13th, it's a reboot of Friday the 13th Part 2.
Right.
Because Jason's mother is a footnote in this film, and it predominantly centers on him. And what I think, it was my takeaway as well. I also happened to see it in theaters. It was really, I had high hopes because the people behind this, Michael Bay producing, Marcus Nispel directing, the people, and pretty much everyone behind this thing was also behind the Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot with Jessica Biel and Eric Balfour, and so and Arlie Ermy. Oh, we miss you, bud.
Rest in peace.
But that film was so good. It was so successful. It was really well done. That I guess Michael Bay and company thought they could do the same thing with Friday the 13th, and unfortunately, it did not fly. And I think I'm going to blame it. I'm going to put the weight squarely in the fact that it wasn't a reimagining of the first film. It was a reimagining of the second because Jason didn't show up to the second, and they tried to make him more sympathetic. Not to the point of being like an anti-hero, but they wanted people to sympathize more with Jason Voorhees. And after 1980, the very first one came out. This is almost 30 years since the first one came out, and Jason Voorhees is solidified. Jason Voorhees is a fucking villain. That is what he is. He is a killing machine that does not stop. There is no sympathy for him. You can only hope to get the fuck out of his way, or if you have the balls like Tommy did and sink his ass to the bottom of the lake. Okay? But you can't overcome that. And they tried to overcome 30 years of Jason Voorhees in a particular context, and I think that's where it fell down. Is you simply cannot do that. And while I'll admit Derek Mears was a decent Jason, he wasn't Kane Hodder. Because it's always been my opinion that, and I think a lot of people might agree with me, is that Kane Hodder is the one who gave Jason his voice. Okay? Because you compare Jason to anybody else, even Michael Myers. Michael Myers is a fucking chatty Cathy, and he's only said one fucking word in all the Michael Myers appearances. He said die in Halloween 2, the Rob Zombie one. Die. He yelled die to Loomis. That was it. He said one word. He's a chatty Cathy compared to fucking Jason Voorhees. And so, in that respect, Kane Hodder gave him his voice with the way, because the body is as much a voice, and movement is as much a voice as your voice is, and everybody knows that signature kind of deal. We knew how Jason was feeling by how Kane Hodder played him. He gave him that kind of chest breathing, the kind of like that like I'm just reacting like maybe he wants to talk but he can't. We don't know. But it was Kane Hodder who gave him his voice, and no one's been able to replicate that success. Not Ken Kersinger, not Kersinger, not Derek Mears, and he did what nobody else before him was able to do, which is brilliant. And kind of the failing, kind of the redesigning of Jason when we already had a successful one. Friday 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, and Jason X, all Kane Hodder, okay, but not Freddy versus Jason, which was a redesign of Jason. You changing the formula, Mm-hmm. And then same thing in this one. Just Derek Mears is big. He's tall. Yeah, he's a tall motherfucker. He's no Kane Hodder. Kane Hodder is Jason. Mm-hmm. And that redesign just did not play well into helping the film finding footing. It made money. It did, but I'm going to rest that solely on the very wide shoulders of Jared Padalecki.
You just got a man boner.
Well, the dude, his nickname is Moose for a reason.
Right. He's a big dude.
The dude's he's a big motherfucker. And yeah, that's the only reason. It is, everybody flocked to see, one of the Supernatural boys, one of the Winchester brothers is in a horror movie. Just like they did with My Bloody Valentine 3D. Just Jensen Ackles was in that one. And that fucker made $100 million. Made
a shitload of money.
Yep.
But like you said, it had everything to do with Jared Padalecki and the names on it, and I think you nailed all of it in a way that made a lot more sense than I was going to say it. But the fact that you said it was a reimagining of the second movie, it had nothing to... If you were already a hardcore Friday the 13th fan beforehand, this movie was going to disappoint you because it was just another teen movie, essentially, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, yeah, it made money, but I don't think it was... It's not something that I think of often. It's not something that I would look at and be like, oh yeah, I'd watch that again because it was a good movie. It threw the storyline off. It wasn't Kane Hodder, like you said. You just tried to remake something that wasn't doable. You can do stuff like Scream because, that was chaos and you're looking at a real person. But when you try to take somebody like fucking Jason motherfucking Voorhees and then reimagine a story that already has a start, middle, and end, and then try to insert this into it, I think it kind of fucked up the whole storyline, especially this late into it. It's not like it was like, oh, they made a second one and then they redo the second one, 5 years later. It was many, many years later. So yeah, I don't think this was even a necessary film to be made. It made a little bit of money, but it's not really something that sticks with people because it wasn't done well to the series.
It really wasn't, because like I said, with right off the bat you have Jason who's off. He doesn't feel like Jason, and with the characters that are there, they're just cookie cutter kind of thing. They're your standard. You got the jock guy, blah blah blah, and then you have like the ditzy girl, and then you have the all this other kind of stuff. They're so cookie cutter. I actually found the side characters, was it played by Chewie, played by Aaron Yo, a little bit more entertaining than the main characters. kind of thing.
Yeah.
There was nothing about this film that is just memorable. Like when you think of the franchise as a whole, you know, I probably haven't thought about this movie in maybe 5 years, 6 years, something. I saw it in theaters and I haven't thought about it in that long because it's just forgettable. Like there's just no reason for the film to exist.
It's the same with Freddy versus Jason. The only reason I remember that, it was because of Robert Englund.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert Englund is Freddy, and that should have been. You wanted a successful movie, that should have been Robert Englund and Kane Hodder. That's how that should have been. Kane Hodder is a magnitude larger than Robert Englund. Okay, he's not that much taller than he is, but you can cheat that shit in film. Everybody knows you can do that.
Absolutely.
You can make someone. I mean, look at what they do for Tom Cruise. The dude's a fucking midget.
Exactly.
Okay. I mean, I'm still kind of burnt about that. Ronnie Wu, who directed that film, had no business directing fucking Freddy vs. Jason. It was a goddamn throwaway, and the fact that they dumped Kane Hodder, and no one will take credit for it. Ronnie blames the studio, blames New Line. New Line blames Ronnie. You know, Kane blames fucking everybody because he was kind of enticed with it, and then it was taken away. You know, and then Robert Englund was like, "What the fuck? This is supposed to be me and Kane. You know, they're pretty much our characters." And then, but it was a big ass paycheck for Robert, so he's not going to turn it down. And fucking Ken Kersinger, I'm sorry, Chief. I mean, he was like, and it was so sad because he said, Kersinger said in a fucking interview that he had never seen a Friday movie before this. And so his description of the character he got from the director. The director described him as Frankenstein. It's kind of like a reanimated interview, like Frankenstein. So that's why we got the lumbering, the
broody,
exactly. The Jason Voorhees that we got was because of the fundamental lack of understanding of the character. A director and a lead actor who have never seen any of the films beforehand.
And this is exactly why you can always tell when a director is a fan of the series and when it's a paycheck. Like Peter Jackson is a huge Lord of the Rings fan. That's why those movies came out so well. He knew what made them great and the intricacies that made it for what it is. When you get a director and lead actors who have no idea of the source material and anything about it and have barely even did any research behind it, and then the studio's like, well, why did this film suck? How come Friday the 13th fans didn't like this film? You answered your own question. Like you did right off the bat. Kind of thing. And so this is actually a good time. Let us know in the comment section below, should the Friday series continue, because this is the last one. Friday the 13th, 2009. There has not been another one since. So it makes it 11 years?
11 years. Yep.
Kind of thing. And so we've been getting a little bit here and there of other series and stuff like that, and in an age of reboots and stuff and reimaginings and all this other kind of stuff, or more films coming out, and some of them being converted to TV shows now, but no one's touched it. So should the series continue, or is Friday the 13th done? And that's all she wrote. So let us know in the comment section below.
Just like this podcast, it is horror history.
Done. That's it.
That's something else. It just popped into my head.
What do you mean the podcast was done? I meant we were talking about horror history.
It's popped in my head. It's interesting. Next month is a Friday the 13th.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Eugene and I are filmmakers. I wonder if we could do a Friday the 13th fan film.
There's
killed
been a couple of fan films that you can find on YouTube out there that are actually pretty well done.
Yes, they're actually really good, faithful to the series and the character.
So that may be something, maybe we'll talk about it. Maybe, discuss it. See, maybe we can work something out along here.
I think two recommendations I can make. Never Hike Alone was a good one, and Friday the 13th Return to Crystal Lake.
I thought you were giving advice, like never hike alone.
No. Those are two fan films that were released on YouTube in their entirety. They're both about an hour long. Both of them were real. Those are probably the best I've seen. That and the Jason Voorhees versus Michael Myers fight, where the effects done, it straight up looked like they took Jason from Friday Part 7. Okay, and or maybe part, I would say kind of a combination of 7 and 8. They took the Jason straight from that film and put him up against the Michael Myers from the first it was from I would say from Halloween, from Rob Zombie's Halloween. Took that Michael Myers and put it up against 7, 8 style Jason. That fight was really good shit.
It was really good because the rest of the characters don't even matter. The deputy shows up and stuff like that, and you're like, yeah, I don't care about that. I just want to watch them fight more.
But at least it lives on in fan culture on YouTube. So
that is
good to know.
That is true. And we actually have one more movie to talk about. And JL, what do we got for our last film?
Well, we are going to close out this week super strong. We've got one released February 14th, 1991. It was a Valentine's Day release, if you can friggin' believe it. The Silence of the Lambs.
Ooh, one of my personal favorite films.
Yes, up there. So, The Silence of the Lambs, directed by Jonathan Demme, based on The Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris, adapted by Ted Talley, and then starring, of course, Jodie Foster, Anthony Hopkins, Scott Glenn, and Ted Levine. So, I don't know how much... I don't know anybody who has not seen this movie, but the plot summary pretty much is an FBI trainee is tasked with interviewing serial killer Hannibal Lecter from prison to get insight into catching another serial killer named Buffalo Bill.
It puts the lotion on its skin.
The film predominantly focuses on the growing relationship between FBI trainee Clarice Starling and serial killer Hannibal Lecter in their search for this really, really nasty serial killer named Buffalo Bill, who likes to skin women for nefarious purposes. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but you know what he does it for. But an absolutely brilliant film, and it has to be said, winner of the Big Five at the Academy Awards. One of the few horror films, I think the only horror film to actually ever do that, being that it won Best Director, Best Picture, Best Actress, Best Actor, and Best Original Screenplay.
Best of the best of the best, sir.
With honors.
See, you talk about...
Or best adapted screenplay. I fucked that up because it was an adaptation from the novel. But yeah, won all the top 5.
The story is, like you said, it's about Clarice and Hannibal in their relationship and him picking, or her picking his brain, but it ends up being the other way around. It's a great psychological situation. But that's it's a 2-hour and something minute movie, and you only actually see Anthony Hopkins playing Hannibal in this for 16 minutes. He's only in 16 minutes of the film, but he's the most memorable part of the film. The way that he portrays... If you've ever seen Anthony Hopkins in anything, you know that he can take any role that he's put into and absolutely kill it. But being only 16 minutes in this movie and making such a... Because I remember even as a kid, my parents talking about how much this movie scared the crap out of them and how it was a terrifying thing to think about, because when I was a kid, there was a whole bunch of serial killings going on. But, being able to take 16 minutes out of an entire film and create an impact that spread across the nation like wildfire was absolutely incredible.
Yeah. He's so a part of pop culture now.
You still hear kids. That's one thing that I hear younger people, even though it's wrong because it's not what he says in the movie, but you hear, "Hello, Clarice," all the time. I've heard teenagers say it before. And it's wow, you guys are still watching. I'm impressed. Maybe there's hope for this piece of shit generation.
And that's what's so crazy about it. You have a character that is so smart, right? And the fact that he is confined in this tiny cell, right? And the government, I think it's the FBI, right, that had him. The FBI thought that they were in so control, and you quickly realize they control nothing. That he's only
playing their game.
Yeah.
Or he's playing his game. They're playing his game.
Like, it's almost like he's imprisoned because he wants to be. And that he knows he can get out anytime he wants.
Just like bored with his everyday, killing and eating people. So he's like, well, maybe we'll try to break out of prison.
And then he does. In a very gruesome way, too. Like, very gruesome way. You gotta, wear somebody's face.
The way that he knows that he's in control and the way that he plays that role, Anthony Hopkins, it's creepy. That's like the creepiest part. You got like the murders and stuff, and you cut open a dude's head and make him eat his own brain, but the whole psychological aspect, the way that he can get into the audience's head just by playing a role, it's not specifically made for Clarice. Like, he gets into the head of the audience, and it's just incredible.
Yeah, it's when we think of serial killers, especially like in the horror genre, you think of like monsters and stuff like that. A lot of times they're like, a supernatural being, or, they're mentally ill, or sometimes they're just dumb and they kind of stumble around and kill people and everything like that. It's rare that you see somebody who is like a genius level IQ that is a serial killer. And what makes him scary is not the fact that he's big and unstoppable and shoot him or anything. Like, he's just a normal guy. What makes him scary is that that he is smarter than you and that he will outsmart you. He doesn't have to run and chase you through the woods or anything like that. He'll just be where where you're going to end up. When you're like, I'm running, he's behind me, I think it's going to be a good hiding spot, and then he's already there because he knows that's where you're going to be.
Walk into him.
Yeah.
He knows.
He knows exactly where you're going to be, and that's what's so scary about him, kind of thing. But he actually takes some real life inspirations too, kind of thing like that. A big one is actually Alfred Trevino, who was actually a Mexican doctor who was accused of killing and murdering a close friend of his, and then started actually killing and dismembering hitchhikers down in Mexico, kind of thing. Another action, yeah.
Normal Wednesday.
Yeah, just a normal Wednesday. He ended up killing his friend, which a lot of people believe was his lover, Jesus Castellino. And then he kind of got a taste for it, and then started really, really enjoying it. Enjoying it.
I think they did like an adaptation of that story on like one of the like SVU or Criminal Minds or something.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
I wouldn't doubt it either.
It just clicked when you were talking about it.
And actually, another huge inspiration was Albert Fish, who was also a cannibal.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Don't downplay that fucker, because that guy was fucked up.
Yeah, this was a guy born in 1870, right? And till he lived till 1936. And this was a man who was just common, average, talk to you would never suspect anything like that, and then he goes and murders like a 12-year-old girl and eats her.
Fucking killing kids and eating them, dude.
Yeah.
That dude was into some weird shit too.
Fish was a bad one. That's why he's a part of Captain Spaulding's murder.
Yeah,
because I mean, dude, not only would he take family members, kill them, and eat them, and then he would send letters back to the family. To just taunt them. On top of that, I mean,
he also did shit like stick rose stems in his urethra, so he obviously wasn't all there.
we all just got the image of that at the same time.
You really did.
It's true, dude. That guy was fucked up.
Yeah. So exactly. So this is, so taking inspirations from, a few other serial killers here and there, and they basically took the elements of all of them, put all the creepiest elements, and then put them into one person, and that's Hannibal Lecter. That's like, and for those of you who don't know, Hannibal Lecter was voted the #1 villain by American Film Institute. Like,
that worries me for the bloodbath coming up.
This is going to be a good one.
I'm actually really looking forward to it.
I'm scared now.
So, with all of it, talking about all the Hannibal Lecter films, and Alex made mention of a of another one. He made mention of Hannibal, the fourth film that was done. But there have been a number of films we have that Hannibal Lecter has been in. Not all of them had Anthony Hopkins portraying him. Anthony Hopkins was the second actor to portray Hannibal Lecter. The first one was Brian Cox, and he did it in the movie Manhunter.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so you got Manhunter, you've got Silence of the Lambs, you've got Red Dragon, and Hannibal. Okay? So, 4 Hannibal films. Which one did you like? To our audience, what's your favorite Hannibal film? Do you prefer Red Dragon? With a little bit of, where it's, still him behind bars, and, we got the kind of, the play between Dollarhide and, Will Graham? Or did you like, Silence of the Lambs? Him and Clarice Starling? And then, of course, the critically not so great Hannibal, but some people did still enjoy it. Or maybe the Brian Cox original. Maybe he did something a little bit different. But let us know. We'd like to know what your favorite Hannibal film was. And no, the TV series does not count, although Mads Mikkelsen was the fucking shit in that show.
Love some Mad Mikkelsen.
He was brilliant. So, but yeah, let us know what your favorite Hannibal film was. We'd love to hear it. So, that's going to be it for the week, but we've got one birthday, don't we, Alex?
Only one birthday.
One birthday this week.
All right, yeah, definitely. Born February 9th, 1978. Director, writer, and producer Fede Alvarez. He was born in Montevideo, Uruguay. The director and writer is known for Don't Breathe, which is a great fucking movie. The 2013 Evil Dead, and the 2018 film The Girl in the Spiderweb, which are some of his more recent films. This is a guy that I am jealous of because of his hair and also his vision. He's got some great hair. But, and also coming up, he's got a movie coming out called Labyrinth. It was just announced, and I could not find any information on, what the actual plot was to that film. So I don't know if it's going to be, a remake or...
Interesting. I will say this. His career has been kind of the dream, because he kicked everything off with a short film that I think was 5 minutes long, that got uploaded to YouTube, and from there it just kind of went. And the name of that was it was in Spanish, Ataque de Panico.
Oh yeah, Panic Attack.
Yeah, Panic Attack. Yeah.
Yeah, which translates to Panic Attack. But you can find it on YouTube. It's really, really good. We all watched it, in preparation for this, and it's a 5-minute short film with no real dialogue, but it's giant robots are attacking the capital of Uruguay and blowing the fuck out of it, Independence style. And that was it. No real explanation, no nothing, but really, really excellent effects. You'll be impressed. Shot that fucker on a $300 budget.
$300.
So not fucking bad. Excellent camera work. He really showed his skill on that. I would be surprised if it wasn't probably a college project, most likely, or a thesis project. But really excellent work, and it launched his fucking career. He nabbed the Evil Dead reboot in 2013, which still, one of the most jaw-dropping openings I've ever seen. But and then he just kicked off from there, and then Don't Breathe. Fuck. Really, really good.
Could you imagine starting, fuck it, I'll spend, $1 bill's worth of money on doing something I want to do, and then going on to producing Don't Breathe,
Yeah, and the sequel, he said, he recently reported that the sequel to that has been written, so we're going to get a sequel to Don't Breathe too, because, that ended on a cliffhanger. And then The Girl in the Spider's Web, which is, in the... the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Yeah, that series.
That whole Nyquist, was that? I can't remember
that sounds right.
Yeah, but in his series of books, because there's multiple books in that series beyond the 3, and so he's picking up the girl with the girl in the spider's web. So he's carrying that on. That's a big thing to go with.
That's a huge book series.
Yeah, so amazing career he's had so far.
Yeah, I want to know that transition. It's you go from Panic Attack for $300 to Evil Dead on a multi-million-dollar budget. I
mean, if you watch the Panic Attack, just the way that you can tell, it seems like he took $300 and made it look like $3,000.
Oh, hands down, yeah.
And so I think seeing that as like a film company and being like, wow, look what the fuck he did with $300. I'd be like, yeah, no, get him in to see what he can do. And probably, because I think Don't Breathe, I don't think that was even supposed to be like a super successful film from what I was reading. Like, it wasn't supposed to take off the way that it did. But then they got him into the studio and he started calling the shots. They're like, we should probably get ready for this to be a big movie. So I don't know. It's just apparently his style was just fucking there. I mean, The Evil Dead, because shit. That was, remember on the film cover where it was like the most terrifying film you will ever experience?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it was the most terrifying film, but it definitely, that opening 5 minutes left my jaw on the floor.
It's seriously.
I was blown away. I was hooked, and I enjoy every aspect of that film. That opening 5 minutes, I can barely see any flaws in that film. I know that there were people would tell me that there were stumbles along the way, but I don't give a shit. The way he handled that movie, the cinematography in that, the lighting, everything. He took a property that was not his, that was the invention of Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, and their friends, okay, and not only recreated it, but paid a beautiful homage to it, okay, but did his own thing as well.
Yeah.
Okay. You could see the level of respect and love he had for the original trilogy, and this was a beautiful homage to it, and lovingly crafted. And like you say, it doesn't surprise me. He's probably as big a fucking fan of horror as we are.
He's got something.
He loves it.
Going from Panic Attack to Evil Dead in like 4 years, he obviously worked very hard for it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
And that's why when we're talking about like Friday the 13th, we're like, wow, this there's no reason for that film to exist. But then you watch something like The Evil Dead and you're like, yes, I want to see it. I remember it. Like, it has a purpose. Like, I enjoyed that film. That's the way a remake should be done.
Absolutely. You ensure your director has an absolute love for the product, and he's able to. That's why it's become so confusing as to how to label the 2013 Evil Dead. Is it a reboot? Is it a reimagining? Is it a sequel? Is it a prequel? We don't really know. Just all we know is that the movie stood on its own, and we harkened back to Sam Raimi's work. We didn't overshadow him. We didn't try to overshadow him, or they didn't try to overshadow him, and it just came out so wonderfully done. And of course, Don't Breathe, absolutely great.
He's not actually directing Don't Breathe 2, right?
Oh, he's just producing it?
Well, yeah, he's producer and co-writer, and he's doing, he's got the directional duties, but a guy named Rodo Segues.
Oh, probably another Uruguayan.
He actually co-wrote the first film.
I figured they had to be friends.
There you go. Yeah. And that is that inclusiveness we talked about at the beginning of the podcast.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is
he's
how
not
going
to be like, no, I want to do it. He's like, hey, you want to give it a shot? Like, dude, I'll ride behind you and point stuff out.
That is how you do it. Look at that.
See,
I think that brings that wonderfully. It brings it full circle. Fede Alvarez really showing everybody how it's done.
I'm excited to see where his career goes. I'm sure he's going to be a big name on a lot of stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, then happy birthday, Fede Alvarez.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
All right, well, that closes out our 20th episode of Week in Horror. 20 in the can, or 19 in the can. This will soon be in the can. But, of course, we would not be able to do any of this without our beloved listeners. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for taking the time to let us entertain and inform. Of course, we always want any feedback you have, any comments, any questions, any concerns. Do you love us? Do you hate us? Is it totally meh? We want to know. So hit us up on all the usual spots. You can find us at weekinhorror.net on our new website, weekinhorror.net. You can email us at weekinhorror@gmail.com. Or, of course, comment on us, at facebook.com/weekinhorror or at Twitter @weekinhorror. You can check us out there, drop us a line. When you sign up under our social media, you get our daily splatter, which is a little bit of horror intel every single day right to your feed. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't shill a little bit and say, check us out on Patreon. We have exclusive content for all of our Patreon members. We have our Week in Horror Bloodbath, where we pit horror icons against each other. Next Bloodbath will come out March 1st. That will be Dexter versus Hannibal Lecter. And then, of course, we have the After Dark, which is our kind of intimate sit-down time with our special guests and kind of get their take on the horror industry and their career. And that's kind of a little special thing that we do, only for our Patreon members. Come on out, check it out. Maybe you'll see something you like. And as always, we appreciate it. You can find us on anchor.fm/weekinhorror, or you can listen to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or any favorite place where podcasts are hosted. We appreciate you taking the time to check us out. I've been JL.
Thanks, y'all. I'm Alex.
I'm Eugene.
And we will see you guys next week.